Okay, so today we have a study guide. This is for our last test of the marking period, our topic 4 test. So make sure you take down really good notes, make sure you write down everything I write in the video, and use this tomorrow while you take your test. You can also watch the video again while you take your test. That's really important. Do not make silly mistakes and read the questions carefully. Okay. Number 1, the price of grapes G is $2.19 per pound. The price of bananas B is 59 cents per pound. The price of pears P is $1.49 per pound. So write an expression to represent the total price of the fruit. Okay, so it's $2.19 per pound for grapes. So $2.19, make sure you're using the right variables. It says that grapes is G, so we need $2.19G. Plus, we're looking for total. That means that we're adding 59 cents B for bananas plus 149 P for pears. Part B, what is the total cost for 3 pounds of grapes, 3 pounds of bananas, and 2 pounds of pears? Okay, so for this one, we're just going to use our expression and plug in the numbers. So we have $2.19. For grapes, we're plugging in 3 for 3 pounds of grapes, plus 0.59. For B, we're plugging in 3 as well, plus 1.49. P, we're plugging in 2. Okay, now what we're going to do is you're going to take out your calculator. I want you to show all of your work on your test tomorrow, and obviously on the study guide because you're writing everything down. I want you to show all of your work because I will give you partial credit if something just goes slightly wrong. But if you don't show work, I can't give partial credit. So 219 times 3, that's 657, plus 0.59 times 3, that's 1.77, plus 1.49 times 2, that's 2.98. Okay. Now add all of these things together in the calculator. 6.57 plus 1.77 plus 2.98, and that's $11.32 is the total cost. Next, on Saturday, Lucas drove 4x minus 5 miles. On Sunday, he drove 3x minus 10 miles. What is the difference in miles driven? So difference means subtraction. So you have to be careful with this. So we're going to do 4x minus 5. We're going to take the first expression, and then what we're going to do is subtract the second expression, but make sure you put it in the parentheses, because if you don't, you will get the wrong answer, because if you don't put in parentheses, then you won't be distributing. And you need to distribute this negative to the first and the second term there, okay? So we have 4x minus 5 minus 3x, and then negative times a negative is a positive 10. Now we can combine our like terms, so 4x minus 3x is just x, and negative 5 plus 10 is positive 5. So the answer is x plus 5, C. Next, which expression is equivalent to negative 2/5 times the quantity 15 minus 20d plus 5c? Select all that apply. Okay. For these, a lot of you guys are getting confused. All you have to do is just do some side work over here. So first we're multiplying negative 2/5 times 15. So that looks like this, negative 2/5 times 15 over 1. Okay, and then we've learned with multiplying fractions that we can cross simplify. So 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 15 3 times. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Next, we're doing negative 2/5 times negative 20d. So negative 2/5 times negative 20 over 1. We're going to cross simplify. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into negative 20 4 times. And then remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. And we have negative 2 times negative 4, so that's going to give us plus 8, and then don't forget the d. Next, negative 2/5 times 5c, that's negative 2/5 times 5 over 1. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 5 once, so that's negative 2 times 1, that's negative 2c. So this is our expression. Negative 6 plus 8d minus 2c. So we're looking for the expressions that match this. This one, definitely not. That's completely different. This one, negative 6 plus 8d minus 2c, that's exactly what we have. This one, negative 2c. Do we have a negative 2c? Yes. 8d, do we have an 8d? Yes. Negative 6, do we have a negative 6? Yes. So this expression is the same. It's just reordering the terms. Let's look at this one. Positive 6, do we have a positive 6? No, so that one's not right. So these two middle ones are the answer. Next, 2 times 10 is 20. Distributive property here. 2 times x is positive 2x. And 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Now combining like terms, 20 minus 8, that's positive 12, and then we have a 2x. So 2x plus 12. C is your answer. Next, a store offers 20% off all items if x is the original price, which expression represents the final price with the discount. Okay, so be careful, this is 20% off. So if it's 20% off, we're definitely subtracting. Okay, tomorrow it's not going to be 20% off. It's going to be a markup, I'm telling you right now. So your answers are going to be different than what they look like today. Okay, so 20% off. So we're taking the original price, which we're going to call x, okay? And then we're subtracting 20% of the original item x. So that's this one. There's one more answer here. This is 1x, technically. So 1x minus 0.20x is 0.8x. So that's that one. Next, suppose 8x plus 16 ice cream cones were sold on Saturday and 7x minus 9 were sold on Sunday. What is the total number of ice cream cones sold? So total means adding. So 8x plus 16 plus 7x minus 9. 8x plus 7x is 15x. And then 16 minus 9 is positive 7. So B is the answer. Next, there are 11.5 ounces of cereal in a container. So we're starting out with 11.5. Additional cereal is poured. Additional cereal, so that means that we're adding, into the container at a rate of 2.25 ounces per second. So I'm going to do 2.25 per second. How many ounces are in the container after 4 seconds? So we need to type in 4 for seconds. So 11.5 plus 2.25 times 4. Now you can use your calculator. So 2.25 times 4, that's 9. So it's 11.5 plus 9, which is going to be 20.5 ounces. Be careful, tomorrow I believe it says it's emptying out, so not additional, I think it's emptying, so it's going to be a little different. All right, next, what are two different ways of factoring negative 3x minus 9? Okay, so for this one, I'm immediately going to think I'm going to take out my GCF. So if I take out a positive 3, I'm going to be left with negative x and then minus 3. So that's this one. Now if I take out a negative 3, I'm going to be left with positive x and then plus 3, which is this one. Next, match each expression on the left to its equivalent expression on the right. Let's look at this one, 1/3 x minus 2/3 x. 1/3 minus 2/3 is negative 1/3 x, right? And then plus 1/4. So that's this one. This one, 1/3 x plus 2/3 x. Well, that would be 3/3 x plus 1/4. And remember, 3/3 x is just 1x, which is that one. Last one, let's just make sure, 3/4 x. And then we have 2/3 minus 1/3. Well, 2/3 minus 1/3 is positive 1/3. So that's that one. Tomorrow you're going to get something like x, and then you have to take away like 2/3 or something. If you have something like x minus 2/3 x, remember this would be like 3/3 x minus 2/3 x. okay, because 1 is like 3/3, so I'm just making a common denominator here. So then it would be 1/3 x, okay? Just because tomorrow it's going to look a little different, but it's the same process. You just have to know that you have to make a common denominator. Okay, this one. Use the expression 8a plus 16c, factor the expression using the GCF. So what number can I take out here? I can take out an 8, and I'll be left with a plus 2c, because 8 times a is 8a, and 8 times 2c is 16c. Next, what is the value of the expression when a equals -5 and c equals -1? So I'm going to use this original expression. You can use this one as well, but it's actually just easier to use the original. So 8 times -5 and then plus 16 times -1. I'm just plugging in the values. 8 times -5 is -40. 16 times -1 is -16. So -40 minus 16 is -56. Next, use the expression below. -4b plus 8c plus 12 minus 8b minus 2c plus 6. So I'm going to start by kind of grouping my like terms. So I have a -4b, I'm going to box those, and a -8b. I have 8c, I'm going to underline these, and -2c. And then I'll circle my constants, 12 and 6. So -4b minus 8b, that's -12b. 8c minus 2c is positive 6c. And 12 plus 6 is positive 18. Factor the simplified expression using the GCF. So I'm going to take out a 6. You could also take out a -6 if you wanted. If I take out a 6, I'm left with -2b plus c plus 3, because 6 times -2, that's -12b, 6 times c, that's -6c, and 6 times 3, that's 18. Next, what is the value of the expression when b equals 2 and c equals -3? I'm going to plug in back to the original here instead of this one because it's a little bit simpler. -12 times 2, so I'm plugging in 2 for b, plus 6 times -3 plus 18. -12 times 2 is -24. 6 times 3 is -18, and then plus 18. Well, -18 plus 18, that just cancels out to 0, and then we have -24. So -24 is the answer. Thomas, that's an interesting way of spelling Thomas. Thomas bought 80 tickets for rides at an amusement park. Each ride costs 5 tickets, and Thomas has been on X rides so far. Which expression is equivalent to the number of tickets that Thomas has left, okay? So he bought 80 tickets, and now he's using them, so we're taking them away. Each ride costs 5 tickets, and he's been on X ride. So it's 5 tickets per ride. So this is the expression we're looking for. So 80 minus 5x, that's this one. Is 80 plus 5x the same? No. How about this one? Let's distribute. 5 times 16 is 80. And 5 times -x is minus 5x, so this one is the same. Let's check this one. -5x, -5x, positive 80, positive 80. That's correct. And then lastly, this one, if you distribute, 80 plus 5x is not the same, so this one's not an answer. So it's this one, this one, and this one. Okay, last but not least, tomorrow you're going to have some questions about constant, coefficient, variable. So if I gave you an expression like 3x plus 4, this is the coefficient, because the coefficient is what is in front of the variable. Okay, x is your variable, and then 4 is your constant. 4 is the number, any number that's not next to a variable. Okay, and that is it. Have a good day.